In the world's most elite kitchens, where fire hisses like a living creature, steel strikes steel, and commands slice through the air like blades, one name rose to legend: in utter silence. No shouting, no orders, no voice at all. Just a man, a chef, whose quiet presence reshaped the very meaning of luxury dining. This is the story of the silent chef. There are kitchens you can hear before you see. The slamming of pans, the roar of arguments, the orchestra of chaos. But tucked away inside one of the world's most prestigious fine dining restaurants was a kitchen that sounded nothing like the others. No shouting of "yes, chef," no aggressive clattering, not even the whisper of a complaint. Just breath, movement, precision. And at the center of it all stood an African-American chef in his mid-30s, with deep brown skin, a sharp fade, and a gaze that could read a dish the way others read music. His name was Chef Asher Monroe, though critics would come to know him by a different name: the Silent Chef. Asher wasn't mute. He simply chose silence as his discipline, his philosophy, and his rebellion. In an industry built on noise, he walked in quietly, and the world didn't know what to do with him. At first, his presence in luxury kitchens raised eyebrows. Is he shy? Is he unprepared? Can a silent man command a brigade? His colleagues didn't understand it. His superiors couldn't predict him, and diners, well, they had no idea they were tasting dishes formed in absolute stillness. But Asher didn't seek understanding. He sought mastery. He sought clarity. He sought focus. While others sharpened knives, he sharpened senses. Where others relied on orders, he relied on intuition. He believed that silence wasn't absence, it was concentration, it was discipline, it was power. And soon, the whisper of his methods began to travel far beyond his kitchen walls. Luxury kitchens are built on noise. Heat, pressure, adrenaline, they create an ecosystem where shouting becomes survival. Chefs call out orders at lightning speed. Sous chefs bark confirmations, and cooks scramble to keep up with the rhythm. In these environments, sound is a weapon, and often a shield. But Asher refused to participate in the chaos. Instead, he built his own system. Hand signals for timing, gestures for adjustments, written notes for instruction, an absolute presence in every step. When a sauté cook panicked, Asher's calm hand guided him. When a dish went off track, Asher corrected it with a silent nod. When others lost themselves in stress, Asher grounded them with stillness. At first, chefs mocked the method. What is he doing? This isn't meditation, it's dinner service. How can anyone run a luxury kitchen in silence? But night after night, something incredible happened. Orders were faster, mistakes were fewer, and efficiency soared. Without shouting, cooks listened more. Without noise, they watched more. Without distraction, they learned more. Silence didn't weaken the team. Silence refined them. By removing noise, Asher revealed something extraordinary. that chaos was a choice, not a requirement, that communication wasn't limited to sound, and that mastery lived in the spaces most people ignored. The luxury dining world wasn't ready, but Asher was. In silence, taste becomes louder, aroma becomes sharper, color becomes meaning. Asher built a culinary philosophy around the idea that when one sense quiets, the others rise. He trained his cooks to listen to the sizzle of protein to know when it was ready, to watch the color of caramelization instead of relying on a timer, to smell the moment herbs release their final notes of fragrance. He taught them to plate like sculptors, to taste like historians, to cook like artists. And he crafted dishes that reflected that philosophy. Plates that balanced flavor with emotion, textures that told stories, ingredients that whispered of memory, heritage, and future. But Asher's greatest transformation wasn't in the food. It was in the diners. His silent kitchen created dishes so immersive that patrons forgot they were eating at a restaurant. They felt transported to childhood dinners, warm kitchens, familiar aromas, forgotten comforts. Critics described his food as introspective, quietly brilliant, a symphony without instruments. But Asher wasn't alone on his rise, because one night at a private culinary competition in Kyoto, he crossed paths with someone who would challenge him more than any critic ever could. Her name was Chef Hana Sato, a poised, elegant Japanese culinary master known for her precision, her calm, and her almost celestial technique. Where Asher used silence to amplify emotion, Hana used silence to sharpen perfection. She moved like calligraphy, smooth, intentional, flawless. Her dishes were poems made edible. Her reputation stretched across continents. But when she stepped into Asher's world, something unexpected happened. The two chefs communicated without speaking, not out of philosophy this time, but necessity. Gesture by gesture, technique to technique. Understanding through movement alone. Hana recognized something rare in Asher, a discipline deeper than technique, a vision more powerful than tradition, a mastery that didn't demand attention, it commanded it. And for the first time, Asher found someone who understood the weight, the clarity, the purpose of silence. Their collaboration sparked an evolution, not competition, but synergy. Hana introduced Asher to the Japanese principles of ma, the meaning in empty space, the emotion in what is not said, the flavor hidden between flavors. Asher, in turn, showed Hana the depth of emotional storytelling, dishes that carried soul, struggle, heritage, and triumph. Together, they reimagined what luxury dining could be. Not loud, not frantic, not elitist, but intentional, sensory, human. At first, the industry dismissed Asher's methods as gimmicks. A silent chef, a quiet kitchen, impossible. But then, the awards came. His restaurants earned stars. Critics traveled continents to taste his work. Celebrities booked private dinners months in advance. "What's the secret?" they asked. Some said it was his flavors, others said it was his discipline, and many said it was the mystery surrounding him. But truly, his success came from something far deeper. He restored presence to dining. He made chefs care again, made diners listen again, made cuisine feel like art again. Soon, other restaurants adopted fragments of his methods: quieter kitchens, mindfulness sessions before service, training focused on sensory awareness, cooking with intention instead of panic. The ripple was undeniable. An industry built on shouting was learning to whisper, and Asher became not just a chef, but a movement. Asher Monroe, the silent chef, didn't write his philosophy in books. He didn't build an empire of franchised restaurants. He didn't create a media empire or chase celebrity fame. Instead, he built something quieter, something that lasted longer, something kitchens still feel today. His legacy lived in the kitchens that replaced shouting with collaboration, the chefs who learned to taste before they spoke, the apprentices who found confidence in calm, the diners who experienced food with renewed wonder, the restaurants that prioritized intention over chaos, and in the evolving, ever-growing partnership with Chef Hana Sato, whose shared belief in silent mastery continues to inspire the world's most elite dining rooms. To this day, culinary schools teach modules inspired by Asher's techniques: the psychology of quiet kitchens, sensory deepening, mindful cooking, gesture-based communication. His influence echoes in nearly every modern kitchen redesign: softer acoustics, meditative spaces, quiet plating sections. His name is now more than legend, more than mystery, more than myth. It's a reminder that silence isn't weakness. It isn't emptiness. It isn't withdrawal. Silence is intention. Silence is mastery. Silence is voice. In a world that rewards noise, a single man dared to cook in calm. In an industry addicted to chaos, he sought clarity. And in the most prestigious kitchens on earth, his silence changed everything. Because sometimes the loudest revolutions are the ones whispered. This is the legacy of the silent chef.